The numerical is a firm has divided its marketing area into three zones. The amount of sales depends upon the number of salesmen in each zone. The firm has been collecting the data regarding the sales and the salesmen in each area over the past number of years. The information is summarized in the following table. For the next year, firm has only 9 salesmen, and the problem is to allocate these salesmen to 3 different zones so that the total sales are maximum, right? So the profits in thousand of rupees are given here. So the table suggests that if there are zero salesmen which are located in, if there is zero, if there is no salesman that is located in zone 1, zone 2 and zone 3, there will be some sale of that product, and the the profit is 30,000, 35,000, 40,000. If I'm allocating one salesman to zone 1, right, one salesman to zone 2 and one salesman to zone 3, no, obviously the profit will be more. It is 45, 45, 54. Likewise, if I'm allocating 6 salesmen in zone 1, the profit is 98. If I'm allocating 6 salesmen in zone 2, the profit is 93,000. And if I'm allocating 6 salesmen in zone 3, the profit is 102,000. So what is happening? If the number of salesmen are are increasing, the profit is increasing, and up to some extent. Here you can see here for 8 salesmen for zone 1, the particularly the profit was 100,000, but if 9 salesmen are allocated, the profit reduced, right? It is 90,000, right? There can be different reasons. So for some of the cases you can see, so for zone 3, for 7 salesmen are allocated, the profit is 110. For 8 salesmen also the profit is 110. For 9 salesmen is also the profit is 110. So such may happen. This is the data that they have collected from a number of years of a number of previous years, and they have prepared this. So what they have to decide, they have to decide in each of the zone how much salesmen should be allocated, so that their the total sales are the maximum. If the total sales are maximum, it particularly means that the profit is also the maximum. So they have to, they particularly are trying to identify the number of salesmen to be allocated in each zone to maximize their profit. So earlier, when we were dealing with the network diagram, that sort of numericals, those were the minimization type of the numericals, right? So we were interested in moving from one point to the other point with minimum time. Now here, what is this type of numericals are of the maximization numericals, right? So we have to maximize the profit, right? So now what we are going to do, we are going to see it part by part. The numerical is very simple, but to make it more simple, or to make it to solve it quickly will require some technique. Otherwise, the numerical will be taking, so numerical will take many it will take more time to get solved. So what we are going to do is now, no, in this problem, the three zone represent the three stages, and the number of salesmen represent the state variables, right? So your number of salesmen are the state variables. And why this problem is dynamic in the nature? Because if I'm going to no, here there is no time phenomena. Understand? See, though the no, particularly the definition of the dynamic programming is that the variables change according to the time, right? But here now you should understand that this is not a, just a second, excuse me. Yeah. So, why this problem is dynamic is in nature, because here with the increase or decrease in the salesman, what is going to happen is that the profits are going to increase and decrease, right? So here the time is not a phenomenon, right? Here the number of salesmen are acting as the particularly variables, and the increase and the decrease in the number of the salesmen are going to change the profits, right? So what we are going to do is, now they are given us three zones. We are not going to consider all these three zones, at a single go. We are going to consider firstly two zones, and then first two zones, and then we are going to move towards the zone three. So what we can do is, now consider the first two zones, that is zone one and zone two. 9 salesmen can be divided into two zones in different ways, right? So I have 9 salesmen, and I have to divide it in the two zones only now. So what I can do is, I can put in all the 9 salesmen in zone one, and I can put only no I can put 0 in zone two. This is one of the combination. Even I can do that, I can put 8 in zone one and 1 in zone two. I can put 7 in zone 1 and 2 in zone 2, and then this particular can vary, right? So there are number of ways I can get into, and I can decide how many number of salesmen are to be put. So there are different combination, and each particular combination will be giving us some returns, right? So returns in the form of the profit, right? So each combination particularly is associated with a different certain returns, and the returns for all the number of salesmen for different combination can be represented as below. So what I have done is that, I have represented it in this particular manner. So it is a very easy representation. I will be telling you how to read this and how we can extract the maximum data through this. For a particular number of salesmen, the profit for all possible combinations can be read along, particularly, let's not deal with this particular line as of now. So just, let's concentrate on this table. So here what we have, here we have zone 1, and there are the no, here comma x1 I am written. So x1 are the number of salesmen. So how many salesmen? I can go with 0. I can put 1 salesman. I can put 2 salesmen. I can put 3. I can put 4. So likewise, I can put 9 salesmen in this particular zone as well, right? The profit associated with this no, putting up of 0 salesman, that has been given in this table. So, right, so for zone 1, if I'm putting 0 salesman, the profit is 30. So same I have written here. So if there are 0 salesmen, the profit is 30. Same way, if I have got if I'm putting 4 salesmen in zone 1, my profit is 79. So my 4 is, it is 79. Similarly, if I'm putting 9 salesmen in this zone 1, my profit is 90. So that has also been represented here, right? So this entire this thing represents your zone 1, right? So now horizontally we have represented zone 1. Vertically we are going to represent your zone 2, right? So zone 2, and the number of, particularly x2 is the number of the salesmen. So you can see 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Here the 9 no, is not visible because the paper got folded. So there are 9 salesmen that we can allocate, and the profit across each of these salesmen is given for zone 2 as well. For example, if I'm putting 3 salesmen in zone 2, my profit is 64. So that I have written here, right? So if there are 3 salesmen, the profit is 64. Similarly, if there are 8 salesmen, the profit is 100. So that also have been, that has also have been put. So 8 salesmen, 100, right? So all this number of salesmen, along with the their functional values, you can say, or along with their profits, are represented in the vertical manner. Right, now what we are going to do is, for let's say that now if I'm putting 0 salesman in zone 2, I can put particularly only for considering only 0 salesman, what is the maximum profit that I can generate, that I can find out. For example, I have put 0 salesman in in zone 2 and 0 salesman in my zone 1. So what will be the total profit? It will be 30 plus 35. The profit is 65, right? So now no, if I have to put only one salesman, no, I have to put only one salesman considering both zone 1 and zone 2, right? So if I'm putting only one salesman, so what are the combination? My combination is 0, that is, if I'm putting 0 salesman in zone 2 and 1 salesman in zone 1, right? So 0, this 0 plus this 1, that is nothing but 1. So, and plus associated profits, what I can do is 35 plus 45 is equal to what? It is equal to 80, right? Similarly, putting one salesman, no, that also other combination is what? It is 1 plus 0. This is the other combination. And associated profit is what? 45 plus 35. It is nothing but equal to 75. So अभी अब देखो कि अगर मुझे एक सेल्समैन डालना है तो एक सेल्समैन का कॉम्बिनेशन क्या हो जाता है? 0 प्लस 1 एंड 1 प्लस 0, ऐसा कॉम्बिनेशन है। और एसोसिएटेड प्रॉफिट हम लोग यहाँ पे लिख सकते हैं। So the easiest method to fill up this table is what? Now let's check up with that particular concept, right? So if I'm putting if I'm putting 0 in zone 2 and 0 in zone 1, the combination is what? 30 plus 35 is equal to 65. Similarly, if I'm putting 0 in zone 2 and 1 in zone 1, the combination is 45 plus 35 is equal to 80, right? Similarly, if I'm putting 0 in zone 2 and 2 in zone 1, the combination is 60 plus 35, which is nothing but 95. Similarly, if I have to go next, if I have to put 0 salesman in zone x2, sorry, zone 2, and 3 in zone 1, so here it is 70 plus 35, it is equal to 105, right? Likewise, I can go with how many maximum number of salesmen that I can put at any instance is what? It is instant is 9. That is what is the maximum combination? It can be 0 plus 9. So that is the maximum combination 125, right? So कैसे आएगा 125? 90 plus this particular 35 is nothing but 125, right? Now considering particularly one salesman, तो यहाँ पे particularly अगर ये वाला मैंने 1 पकड़ लिया तो 1 plus 0 is 1 salesman, and here it is 30 plus 45 is 75. If I'm thinking of putting one salesman in here and one salesman here, so it is 45 plus 35, 45 plus 45, it is equal to 90. And if I'm putting thinking of two salesmen here and one salesman here, so it is 60 plus 45, it is 105. Similarly, why I can't put why this cell is kept as vacant, right? You should be able to judge, right? So if I'm putting one salesman here, and if I have to consider here, it will be 9 salesmen. 9 plus 1 is equal to 10, but our maximum, how many number of salesmen I can put? It is 9. तो 9 का ये हो जाता है 1 salesman here and 8 salesman here. So 8 plus 1 is 9, and 100 plus 45 is 145. So you can't put anything here. You'll have to end your combination here, right? Similarly, you can think of the other combination also. If I'm thinking of 2 here and 0 here, so the maximum profit I can generate is 3 plus 30 plus 52 is 82. Likewise, I can particularly check out my combination. Why these two cells are now particularly kept vacant? Now, if I have to put a value here, so it will be what? It will be 2 salesmen here and plus 8 salesmen here. So 8 plus 2 happens to be 10. The maximum is 9 only. So I can't put any value here. Similarly, if for the value here, it will be what? It will be 9 plus 2. 9 plus 2 is 11. Not possible. So I can't put any value here. Likewise, you'll have to test. Now check for this 9. Why all the values are kept vacant here? Because if I'm putting 9 here, what will happen? I will have to obviously put 0, right? So 9 plus 0 is 9, and here it will be 30 plus 100 is equal to 130. I'm hoping that you are getting this particular table. It is very easy to understand this particular table. So now these are for the particularly now this is for zero salesman. No salesman are been allocated. एक भी salesman हम लोगों ने अभी तक 9 में से अगर एक भी salesman allocate नहीं किया है तो हम लोगों का maximum profit कितना हो जाता है, दो जोन पकड़ के 65 हो जाता है, राइट। अभी वैसे हम लोग क्या करने वाले, अगर हम लोगों ने जीरो सेल्समैन डाला तो हम लोगों का मैक्सिमम प्रॉफिट कितना आएगा, अगर दो जोन पकड़ के अगर मैं एक ही सेल्समैन डाल रहा हूं तो मेरा मैक्सिमम प्रॉफिट कितना आएगा, अगर दोनों भी जोन पकड़ के अगर मैं बस दो ही सेल्समैन डालने वाला हूं तो मेरा मैक्सिमम प्रॉफिट कितना आएगा, दैट वी आर गोइंग टू फाइंड आउट। सो हाउ टू फाइंड आउट, लेट्स चेक दैट, right? So now I think that you have already understood. If I'm putting zero salesman in considering both the zones, it is 30 plus 35 and the maximum profit is 65, right? So now let's consider this. If I'm putting only if I'm considering only one salesman to be put considering both zones, zone 1 and zone 2, so what are the possible combination? It is 0 plus 1 and 1 plus 0. So what is 0 plus 1? 0 plus 1 is 45 plus 35, it is 80. And what is 1 plus 0? It is 30 plus 45, it is equal to 75. So if I'm putting only one salesman, what are the chances, what are the profits that I'll be generating considering different combinations? It is 75 and 85, 75 and 80. So the maximum amongst the 75 and 80 is what? It is 80, and hence I have circled 80 here, right? Here also the maximum profit that I can generate with only one salesman is 65, and that I have circled here. Similarly, if I have to find out what is the profit if I'm putting two salesmen considering zone 1 and zone 2, right? So what is the different combination? It is 0 plus 2. The other combination is the other combination is 1 plus 1, right? And the other combination is 2 plus 0, right? So all the other combination. Now how you are don't get confused or don't think that how to find out this combination, it is appearing to be a rocket science. No, it is not a rocket science. You can see particularly अभी ये देखो कि ये सब जो मैंने अभी ये बताया, ये 1 का जो कॉम्बिनेशन है, this will be here and this will be here, so it is appearing across the diagonals, it is appearing across the diagonal. तो ये 1 का अगर आप लोग पकड़ ले, ये 1 का अगर ये पॉइंट पकड़ ले, तो ये वाला 1 के अक्रॉस का ये वाला और 1 के अक्रॉस का ये वाला, ये आपका क्या हो गया, ये आपका इतना सा डायगोनल है, ये 2 वैल्यूज आपके आ जाएंगे। सिमिलरली फॉर 2, नाउ 2 के अक्रॉस का डायगोनल आप लोग देखोगे तो डायगोनल स्टार्ट्स फ्रॉम हियर, देन इट इज हियर एंड देन इट इज दिस वैल्यू, राइट? सिमिलरली ये मैंने डायगोनल अभी यहां से स्टार्ट किया, यू कैन गो इन द रिवर्स वे आल्सो। ये वाला 2 का वैल्यू है तो ये वाला डायगोनल देखो, अभी ये वाला वैल्यू, ये वाला वैल्यू और ये वैल्यू, these are the diagonal points, right? So the particularly here I have written this sentence, right? So for a particular number of salesmen, the profit for all possible combinations can be read along the diagonal. Maximum profits are circled, right? So now for 2, if you see, so what are the combination here you can read. So for this highlighted cell, it is what? It is 2 plus 0, right? Again, for this particular cell, highlighted cell, it is what? It is 1 plus 1, right? For this highlighted cell now, which is again for the diagonal, it is 0 plus 2, right? Similarly, if I'm going for 3, now the maximum across this 82, 90 and 95 is what? It is 95, and hence I have circled the 95, right? Similarly for third, for the 3, for the number of salesmen to be 3, including zone 1 and zone 2, what are the different type of combinations? So now this is 3, so this is the combination, so it is 94, 97, 105 and 105. So I marked the diagonals as well, right? So if I'm considering this value, so what is the combination? It is 3 plus 0 is equal to 3. If I'm considering this particular value, so what is this? It is 2 plus 1 is equal to 3. If I'm considering this particular cell for this diagonal, one minute. What is the combination? It is 1 plus 2 is equal to 3. And if I'm considering this cell, so it is what? 0 plus 3 is equal to 3. So now the maximum value across for amongst this 94, 97, 105 and 105 is what? It is 105, which is appearing to be twice, and hence I have circled this 105 and this 105 as well. Similarly, if I'm going for four number of labors considering zone 1 and zone 2, so the maximum the combinations are this particular value, this particular value, this particular value, this particular value, and this particular value, right? So amongst the highlighted values, so if you check out the combination, what is this combination? It is 4 plus 0 is equal to 4. What is this combination? It is 3 plus 1 is equal to 4. What is this combination? It is 2 plus 2 is equal to 4. What is this combination? It is 1 plus 3 is equal to 4. And what is this combination? It is 0 plus 4 is equal to 4. Similarly, I can move towards 5. For 5, these are the diagonal value. Okay. Amongst this, previously seen values for 4, so 115 is maximum, and hence I have circled 115. Similarly, I can move towards five salesman. So the values are 112, 117, 124, 122, 124, and 125, right? So the maximum amongst this is 125, and hence I have circled 125. So if you have to check the combination, it is 5 plus 0, it is 4 plus 1, it is 3 plus 2, it is 2 plus 3, it is 1 plus 4, and it is 0 plus 5 is equal to 0. 0 plus 5 is equal to 5. Similarly, for 6, what are the diagonal values? It is 123, 127, 132, 134, 131, 135, and 133. The maximum is 135, and hence I have circled 135. So if I have to check the combinations for 6, so it is 6 plus 0, it is 5 plus 1, it is 4 plus 2, it is 3 plus 3, it is 2 plus 4, it is 1 plus 5, and it is 0 plus 6, right? I'm hoping that you are getting this. We will be skipping 7. We'll directly go for 8, right? So for 8 now, what are the diagonals? 130, 143, 153, 152, 151, 154, 150, 150, and 135. So the maximum among them is 154. Now circle 154. Similarly, for particularly okay, we did for 7. For 8 it is different, and for 9 it is different, right? So now move ahead and how to use this particular table that we are going to see. So now what we have done is that we have circled the maximum values amongst this, right, for every combination. So for 0 it is 65, for 2 it is 80, sorry, for 1 it is 80, for 2 it is 95, for 4 it is 105, for 5 it is 115, for 6 it is 125, right? For 6 okay, for 6 it is for 5 it is 125, for 6 it is 140, for 6 it is 135, for 7 it is 143, which is coming twice, right? For 8 it is 154, and for 9 it is 163, right? So what we are going to do is now consider the distribution of 9 salesmen in 3 zones, right? So this was only 2 zones. We have considered the distribution of 9 salesmen in only 2 zones. Now what we are going to do is we are going to do the distribution of 9 salesmen in 3 zones, right? So the decision at this stage will be result in allocating certain numbers to salesmen to zone 3 and the remaining to zone 1 and zone 2, right? So now what we are going to do, this is again one of the easiest table if you understand. So we are going to put our this particular data in the simplest form in the in this particular table, and then we are going to allocate it for zone 3 as well. So now number of salesmen, this is just how many salesmen we have, it is 0 to 9. So the total profit across each of the salesmen we have written, Now mind it that we have written fx2 plus f2x2 plus f1x1, right? Doesn't matter, right? The value is going to remain same, right? So for zero number of this thing, for zero number of salesmen, what is our maximum profit? It is 65. So for zero it is 65. For one it is how much? For one it is 80, right? So for one it is 80. If we go for two, for 2 it was how much? For 2 it was 95. So for 2 it is 95. For 3 it is 105. So for 3 it is 105. Similarly for 4 it is how much? For 4 it is 115. So 4 it is 115. For 5 it is 125, right? This particular value. So for 5 we have taken 125. For 6 it is 135. So for 6 it is 135 here. For 7 it is 143. So for 7 it is 143. For 8 it is 154. So for 8 it is 154. For 9 it is 163, and here we have 9 as 163, right? So all you have these values. Now what we are going to do is we are going to find out what was the possible, what were the number of salesmen for this maximum values, right? So if we are going for we are going to find out the combination. So for 65 it was 0 plus 0, right? So this 0 plus 0, right? So now no, it is 0 plus 0. So what we have to consider is, firstly we are going to consider x2 and then x1. So that is, we are going to consider zone 2 first and zone 1 later, right? So it is always we'll be writing x2 plus x1. So for 65 it was what? It was 0 plus 0, right? For 80 it was what? For 80 it was 0 plus 1, right? So for 80 it was 0 plus 1, that I have written. For 80 it was 0 plus 1. For 95 it is what? For 95 it is 0 plus 2. So 95 here I have written it as 0 plus 2, right? So for 105 now, so for 105 that we have circled this, for 105 it is 0 plus 3, and again this is also 105, right? Across the same diagonal if you see, so this is we are writing it for three salesmen. So for three salesmen the values is this, this, and this. So amongst this, all the values, the maximum value was this 105 and this 105. So first 105 came for what? It came for 0 plus 3. So 0 plus 3, that I have written here, right? But there is one more value of 105 for the same variable, and this particularly came across for what? It is 1 plus 2, right? So we are also going to write this as 1 plus 2, right? So it was for 3 number of salesmen. Similarly, if we go for 4 number of salesmen, right? So for 4 number of salesmen, the maximum value was 115, right? And this particular value came for 1 plus 3. So that 1 plus 3 value I'm going to write here, 1 plus 3. Now moving towards next 5, the maximum value is 125, and it came across 0 and 5. So I'm going to write it here, 0 and 5. Next, for 6th, the maximum value is what? It is 135, right? For 6 it is 135, and it came for what? It came for 1 plus 5, right? So 1 plus 5 here. Okay, for 7th the values are 143, and here also it is 143, right? So this 143 value came across what? It came across 1 plus 6, right? So it is 1 plus 6, right? And this 143 value came across what? It came across 3 plus 4. So here also we have written 3 plus 4. 8th, for 8th what we have is 154 as the maximum value. So this came across what? It came across 3 plus 5. So that has been written. It is 3 plus 5, right? And 163. So 163, this maximum value came across what? It came across 6 plus 3. So this is 6 plus, right? So now this, you can cross check if you have written it right. So this particular, the addition of this should be equal to this, that is 0 plus 0 is equal to 0, right? Similarly 0 plus 1 is equal to 1, 0 plus 2 is equal to 2, 0 plus 3 is equal to 3, and again 1 plus 2 is also equal to 3. Same way 1 plus 3 is equal to 4, 0 plus 5 is equal to 5, 1 plus 5 is equal to 6, 1 plus 6 is equal to 7, and 3 plus 4 is also equal to 7. 3 plus 5 is equal to 8, and 6 plus 3 is equal to 9, right? So now what we have done, this entire table that we have understood was with respect to zone 1 and zone 2 only, right? So now what we are going to do is we are going to put now the, we are going to consider the number of salesmen for zone 3, right? So now if I'm in combination of zone 1 and zone 2, if I'm putting 0 salesman, right, zone 1 और zone 2 मिला के अगर मैंने 0 salesman डाला है, तो मुझे zone 3 में मैं कितना डाल सकता हूँ? 9, because my maximum capacity is to consider 9 salesmen. So if I'm putting 0 salesman considering both, considering zone 1 and zone 2, no, then the 9 salesmen are left, and I can put all the 9 salesmen in zone 9, sorry, in zone 3, right? Similarly, if I'm putting if I'm putting only one salesman considering zone 1 and zone 2, how many salesmen are left? So 8 number of salesmen are left, so I can put 8 salesmen in zone 3. Similarly, if I'm putting 2 salesmen considering zone 1 and zone 2, I can put 7 salesmen in zone 3. If I'm putting only 3 salesmen in considering zone 1 and zone 2, I can put 6 salesmen in zone 3. If I'm putting 4 salesmen considering zone 1 and zone 2, I can put 5 salesmen in zone 3. If I'm putting 5 salesmen in zone 1 and zone 2 in combination, I can put 4 salesmen in zone 3. If I'm putting 6 salesmen in zone 1 and zone 2, I can put 3 salesmen in zone 3. Similarly, if I'm putting 7 salesmen in zone 1 and zone 2, I can put 2 salesmen in zone 3. If I'm putting 8 salesmen considering zone 1 and zone 2, I can put only 1 salesman in zone 3. And if I'm putting all the 9 salesmen in combination in zone 1 and zone 2, there will be no salesman that will be left for putting in zone 3, hence the value is 0, right? So now the profit across all these salesmen is given in our numerical statement only. For example, if you are putting 9 salesmen in zone 3, the profit is 110. So what I will be writing, if I'm putting 9, I'm getting 110 as a profit. Similarly, if I'm putting 8 salesmen in zone 3, 7 salesmen in zone 3, and the profit remains as 110. So here you can see 8 salesmen and 7 salesmen, the profit is 110. For 6 salesmen, if I'm putting in zone 3, the profit is 102. So here you can see it is 102. If I'm putting 5 salesmen, the profit is 95, and 4 salesmen, it is 82. So you must have 95 and 82 value here, and then you will be having the values of like 70, 60, 54, and 42. So you will be seeing the values 70, 60, 54, and 42. Right? The last thing what we have to find out is finding out the total profit, right? So now the total profit now for the combination, right? So which combination I'm talking about? The combination here. Now, the combination like if I'm putting 9 salesmen in zone 3 and 0 plus 0 salesmen in zone 1 and zone 2, then how many profit I'll be getting is 175. How this 175 came? It is 110 plus 65. It is nothing but 175. Similarly, I can, the profit here will be, sorry, 110 plus 80, the profit will be 190. Here it will be 110 plus 95, hence it is 205. Next it is 102 plus 105, hence it is 207. Here it is 95 plus 115, comes out to be 210. Nextly we have 207 plus 82 plus 125 comes out to be 207. It is 135 plus 70 comes out to be 205. Then we have 143 plus 60 comes out to be 100 and 203. We have next lastly we get the profit as 208 and 205. Now, no, the maximum amongst all these values is how much? It is 210, right? So the maximum profit you can generate is 210. So I've written as the maximum profit that I will be getting is 210,000. Here also, if you can see, the maximum profit I can get is 210,000, right? But for what combination? How many salesmen are to be put? So going back reverse, no, here you can see you already got the 210. So ये किसके लिए है? There are 5 salesmen in zone 3. So you can directly write zone 3 will have 5 salesmen. No, moving backward, here you can say it is 1 plus 3, right? So 1 stands for what? It stands for x2. Here you can see, no, it is x2 plus x1, right? So 1 stands for your x2 and 3 stands for your x1. So your zone 1 salesman is equal to 3, zone 1 salesman is equal to 2, and zone 5 salesman is equal to zone 3 salesman is equal to 5, and they together will generate the maximum profit, which is 210,000, right? So this numerical finishes here. So you got a maximum profit, as well as you also got the allocation of the number of salesmen in each of these zones, which are going to yield you the maximum profit, right?